Trolls World Tour is a new release movie. Thanks to Universal, they released this movie on VOD at its original theatrical release date. So in a way, Trolls World Tour has made history. This movie is going to be in the history books. For at least that. So this is the sequel to the surprisingly successful film that came out in 2016 when everyone was making movies about things. A trend that may have finally died last year when Playmobil the movie came out and nobody saw it. So Papi and Branch discover that the pop trolls are one of 6 different troll tribes scattered over 6 different lands devoted to 6 different kinds of music. Funk, country, techno, classical, pop, and rock. All 6 have their own strings that are supposed to join together for one musical instrument. Whoever wields all of the strings has all of the power. That being Thanos, of course. And Queen Barb of the Rock Trolls is trying to steal all of the strings and wield that power. I must say, even though it's this movie, it feels really nice to be talking about a new release. I haven't talked about a new release in a while due to what's going on right now, and even though I wasn't able to see this in theaters, it was nice to be able to see the movie at home, because this is not the type of film I am dying to see on a giant theater screen surrounded by screaming children. In fact, it was probably a blessing that I got to watch this at home with my wife, and just kind of laugh at the absurdity of the whole thing. I briefly mentioned it, but this is obviously a riff on the Infinity Stones that Thanos is trying to gather, and it's kind of hard to miss, especially when it's coming out right after Endgame. It's a little shameless. It's not really that much of a parody. It's just obviously that's what they're going for. And they couldn't really figure out what to do with this movie. You can tell for a lot of the film. The first 10 minutes of the movie are basically a bunch of pop cover songs. In the beginning, there's a storybook voiceover that sums up the previous film, just in case you forgot, followed by a lot of covers. And that's one of the biggest weaknesses of this movie, actually, those cover songs. Usually in animated musicals, the songs propel the narrative. They're original. They're a way for the characters to express their emotions, how they're feeling in that moment, and you can experience their arc through their songs sometimes. But in the case of this movie, the majority of the songs are all covers from the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. So the overabundant song sequences that are almost constant and never ending don't do anything for the characters. They're just meant to make kids feel like they're experiencing constant sensation, never getting bored, as well as filling a lucrative soundtrack album. A cover here and there is fine, but when your entire movie feels like nothing but cover songs, it can feel like a really empty experience. The film's message is one of diversity and acceptance. It's telling a story where the different music tribes all only like their music. They don't like anyone else's music. And the thought of joining their music with anyone else's music terrifies them. And so it's a lot of different tribes that are separated from each other. And of course the message is, everyone should join their music and be united. Good message for kids to hear, but this movie does not do it in a subtle way. In fact, it's kind of like Kendrick and Justin Timberlake are in your ears screaming at you the whole movie, and you wish you had the gumdrop earplugs that they use throughout the movie. In fact, if you're a parent showing your kids this movie, over the next few weeks, you're going to wish you had those gumdrop earplugs. The animation is obviously going to be great. DreamWorks always does good stuff. Their animation looks beautiful. It's very colorful. It does feel like a drug trip. You could probably watch this movie high or drunk, and it would definitely enhance the experience. But it just doesn't feel like it's a movie that earns its existence, except for the fact that the first film made money. Kids liked it, and it had a huge hit pop song at its center that I heard on the radio 1,000 times a day, every day, for like 2 years. And that was great. The story of the movie is so bare bones, and it's centered around one message and one character that is so gratingly annoying that can't make one right decision to save her life, that being Kendrick's Papi. The film just doesn't really feel like it has a reason to be a story. And that's why there are so many cover songs throughout the course of the movie, where the trolls just start singing, because they don't know what else to do. But let's talk about that character Papi. Throughout this entire film, she makes every wrong decision that you could possibly make. She's so naive and so annoying, you can see it from the very first wrong decision she makes. And you're just pulling your hair out every time she makes a decision, and the characters all around her are also going, hey, you're making dumb decisions, and she's like, I don't give a shit. I'm the queen of pop, and I'm a cool little toy troll thing, and I'm taking this too seriously. It's a type of movie that's constantly on. Something is always happening. It's never down. The energy is always so skyrocketed that when it actually slows down, it's only ever to have a character building moment, have a lesson learned. You never have these quiet moments that could actually tell a story, unless it's to have some sort of argument between characters where they part ways and then you wait for them to be friends again. The movie is so obsessed with making sure that the kids who watch it don't lose their attention span while doing so, that it forgets to just have a story. And by the time the ending rolls around and it gets so strangely dramatic all of a sudden, in more unearned and very awkward, cringeworthy scenes, it was kind of hard to sit through. I was sitting there with my wife and we were actually like locking up, going like, oh God, somebody do something, somebody say something, this is weird, why is this still happening? Oh my God, I don't feel anything, stop, I don't feel anything, stop! Pushing all of that aside, honestly, if you are at home right now and you have nothing else to do like most of us right now, I'm sure there are worse things you could show your kids. Aside from sticking some songs into their head that they're going to be singing for the next few weeks and annoying the shit out of you possibly, this movie isn't going to do any damage. It's just not for me, and probably isn't for most of the people who view my channel. But if you really loved the first Trolls movie, this is definitely not going to offend you. It's probably going to give you exactly what you wanted. But if you're like me, it's not necessary to watch this at all. And it doesn't earn its strangeness. You know, like the Lego movie is a movie that felt unnecessary. And then when we watched it, it was strangely clever and really well made. And it earned being a movie. The Trolls movie made money. I don't really think for the viewer that earns watching the second one. For DreamWorks, okay, they made another one because money. But for everyone else, it's another movie to be inundated with a lot of cover songs where you would rather listen to the originals. And it's yet another toy or thing product movie that is going to be forgotten in like a month, if even. I'm going to give Trolls World Tour a C-. Still, it is kind of strange that this movie could perhaps be mentioned throughout film history as a film that was going to go to theaters but moved to VOD on the same day because of everything that's going on in the world right now. It's sort of an unprecedented thing, and it's really strange that they're experimenting with this. But I wish it was a movie that wasn't this. Guys, thank you very much for watching, but I also want to give a big thank you to this video's sponsor. This video is sponsored by Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for creative and curious people. Explore new skills, deepen existing passions, and get lost in creativity. Skillshare offers creative classes designed for real life and all the circumstances that come with it. These lessons can help you stay inspired, express yourself, and introduce you to a community of millions. And an annual subscription is less than $10 a month. One class that interests me is iPhone filmmaking. Create cinematic video with your phone, taught by Caleb Babcock and Niles Gray from Moment. I have the Moment app and I use it quite often because you can take raw image files with it that aren't compressed, and it helps for video as well to create much better looking video than what your phone normally compresses. And so I'm interested in that class because I want to see just how much I can get out of my phone when I do skits for my YouTube channel. Another great one is Video on a Budget, Prepare for Your Shoot Without Breaking the Bank, taught by Christopher Rhodes, aka YC Imaging, and YouTube Success, Build an Authentic Channel That's Worth the Follow, taught by Sorel Lamore. If you'd like to learn more about Skillshare, please visit the link in the description below. The first 1,000 subscribers to do so will get a 2-month premium membership for free. That's a fantastic deal, and there's so many amazing classes on there, and there's room for just about anything, no matter what you're excited about learning, or if you're just a little curious, or if you're already a master at a topic. It can be really fun to check out those classes. So please do check out that link in the description below for a 2-month free membership from Skillshare. Thank you so much to Skillshare for sponsoring this video, and thank you guys for watching. As always, if you like this, you can click right here and get Stuckmanized.